Music shows, once a very important part of the K-pop fan experience, have now become synonymous with accusations of rigging and manipulation. Sadly, their downfall reflects the current situation in K-pop. At the beginning of June, aespa Supernova and 80's Work competed for first place at KBS's Music Bank, and looking at the competition, people thought that aespa had this win in the bag. They absolutely crushed the digital category, racking up 3,882 points, leaving ATEEZ trailing with only 19 points. On the flip side, ATEEZ was shining in other areas, scoring 3,625 points for broadcast appearances, 2,000 points in pre-voting, and an impressive 5,167 points for physical album sales. In the end, they got a total score of 10,828 points, about 1,000 more than aespa. While fans were happy to see ATEEZ win, a few netizens appeared to be skeptical about the score, wondering whether KBS tweaked the score in ATEEZ's favor. People weren't denying that ATEEZ were talented or that they didn't deserve to win, just that the counting of scores seemed a bit weird, especially the part about digital score. Even though this situation was explained by fans in the end, KBS and Music Bank were in hot waters for the same thing in the past. About 2 years ago, Lee Myung-woong and LE SSERAFIM were up for the first place on Music Bank, and Lee Myung-woong had the higher digital and overall music scores. Despite this, he got 0 broadcast points and ended up in second place. To explain how this works, Music Bank rankings are based on a mix of digital scores, broadcast scores, viewer panel surveys, physical album sales, and social media scores. When Lee Myung-woong's fans saw that he dropped to second place despite leading in digital scores, they demanded an explanation from KBS. KBS initially responded saying that Lee Myung-woong's song If We Ever Meet Again earned 0 broadcast points because it wasn't played on any KBS TV shows, radio programs, or digital content. However, Dispatch soon revealed that the song had indeed played multiple times on KBS's radio that week, which made fans even angrier. As accusations of rigging gained more and more attention, a concerned citizen filed a complaint with South Korea's Anti-Corruption and Civil Rights Commission, alleging that Music Bank had manipulated Lee Myung-woong's broadcast score. KBS was cleared of the charges after it was determined that the places where Lee Myung-woong's music was played didn't meet their qualifying criteria. But wasn't it just a bit suspicious that they have this criteria in the first place? But more on that later. More recently, back in February, IU's Love Wins All won over Idol's Super Lady on Music Bank. When the final scores were added up, IU won by a difference of 182 points. However, fans noticed an issue with Idol's score in the physical sales category. Both IU and Idol received 0 points, which raised a lot of questions since IU had only released a digital single while Idol had sold over 1.4 million albums. According to Music Bank's scoring system, those sales should have earned them some points, yet they received a 0. One possible explanation was that all the physical sales points went to Idol's song My Wife, but since the song was banned by KBS, it made it ineligible to be performed or win. Typically in such cases, the physical sales points would go to the album's title track. Even though the issue became quite big, KBS never gave an explanation of IU's win. So with all of these problems, especially with music shows from big broadcasting stations like KBS, why are music shows still considered credible? Well, they're really not doing well anymore, but that doesn't mean that they don't have their advantages. We can't say that music shows are as influential as they once were for promoting songs to the general public due to declining viewership. But even though nobody is tuning in anymore, a standout performance can still attract a lot of attention when posted on popular online forums in South Korea and help the artist or the song on the charts. Artists are also always thrilled to win, no matter how many times they have taken first place, because fan engagement and enthusiasm in voting are still crucial. Winning is also a major milestone for smaller groups with not many chances or resources to promote themselves properly. The worst of it all is that the music shows, especially lately, have become pretty rigged. Outside of the examples that we mentioned, there have been a lot of accusations from fans that broadcasting stations are faking results in exchange for favors. Networks in Korea are actively seeking out K-pop groups to perform and to appear on their shows since they rely heavily on viewership from K-pop fans due to the declining interest among the broader Korean audience. However, to secure these appearances, they offer wins and other favors to companies and groups. This explains why certain companies seem to dominate with content on specific platforms and why fans speculate about favoritism towards certain companies by networks like Mnet or KBS. It's a long-standing practice where music show producers use their influence to secure appearances. For instance, agencies looking to promote their rookie groups may need to exchange appearances and offer an appearance from top-tier artists for another program under the network. If there were accusations of rigging, it wouldn't necessarily involve traditional bribery, but agreements where companies send their artists or groups to participate in shows in exchange for special benefits and exposure. Speaking of Music Bank, there's been quite a buzz about their scoring system these past few years, and it's clear that there are valid concerns. These last few years, the broadcast score stands out a lot more over other factors, which makes makes it seem like KBS prioritizes the amount companies spend to get their artists on their radio or TV shows rather than emphasizing the song's quality or actual popularity. Viewers have also often criticized Music Bank for its flawed scoring criteria, which they believe are intentionally made to influence the winner. It's no surprise that they keep questioning why the broadcast score is so important that LE SSERAFIM won over a chart giant like Lim Young-eun on broadcast score only. It's as if the show favors playing the songs of artists they prefer to win and inviting those groups to perform on their shows accordingly. The show and Show Champion have also been accused of rigging and manipulating scores. Most music shows reveal scores based on things like digital sales, music video views, fan voting, and album sales, with each show having its unique scoring method. However, SBS's The Show is notable for its ability to heavily influence outcomes. To explain how they calculate the scores, they have a 1,500-point system from expert judges. This is out of a total score of 10,000, mind you, so you can't be surprised that people were side-eyeing them for not being correct in determining the winner. Because of this, netizens have argued for reducing the importance of these expert scores, or adopting Show Champion's approach of not revealing scores to prevent potential rigging suspicions. Speaking of Show Champion, they hide their scores so they can avoid explaining controversial outcomes that may suggest manipulation. Knowing this, it's not surprising whatsoever that music shows have lost their spark. Not to mention that people don't really care about music show manipulations outside of the fandoms and the groups involved, so whenever it happens, it doesn't become a big deal and it tends to fizzle out pretty quickly. Well, unless you mess with someone of Lim Young-eun's popularity. There's also a lot of hoops that artists and agencies have to jump through just to take part in these music shows. An article by Ilgan explains the hierarchy in music shows, which is made out of producers who are managed by chief producers. Chief producers are the ones overseeing several programs and play a crucial role in deciding which idols and groups appear on these shows. This gives them significant power, which they enjoy wielding. On Tuesdays, producers meet with agency representatives, leading to 70 to 100 managers waiting over an hour for their turn. If agencies do end up securing spots for the artists on music shows, it's not the most positive thing, as it comes with hefty expenses. Thousands of dollars are spent mainly on stage outfits, as broadcasters prefer artists not to reuse outfits. So because of that, groups typically need around 4 different outfits for the entirety of their promotion period. Considering that agencies and idols spend a lot of time and money to attend and perform at these shows, you would think that they would at least get something in return, either exposure or money, but unfortunately, that's not the case. Hanse from Victon in particular gave a lot of insight on how music shows work. According to his messages on Bubble, the main issue of music shows is the significant costs companies must cover for each appearance, including stage setups, hair, makeup, styling, food, drinks, and staff costs. Hanse highlighted that these expenses can exceed $7,000 per week for a group, yet the financial return is minimal, with idols typically receiving only about $36 per show. Yes, you heard that right, not even $40. This amount then gets divided among group members, so larger groups end up with even less per person. Furthermore, these promotional expenses add to the overall debt that idols raked up over their trainee years. Despite these financial challenges, Hanse acknowledged that fierce competition compels idols to continue participating in music show promotions. Not to mention, the views on music shows are going down significantly. In March of this year, NBC's show Music Core had a viewer rating of only 0.4%, while KBS's Music Bank and SBS's Inkigayo followed closely with 0.8% and 0.7% respectively. Music Bank achieved the highest rating of 1.2%, but overall, these shows struggled to attract viewers, especially among younger audiences. To keep up with the demand and to appeal to their most prominent audience, broadcasters are focusing more on YouTube, where they can reach teens and people in their 20s, as well as international fans. Music shows are still important for creating content, with edited videos also posted on YouTube, especially since younger fans want content that focuses on their favorite idols. Because of this, broadcasters are investing a lot in recording high-quality video fan cams for each of the members of the group. These efforts include features like face cam for close-ups and one-take cam for showing performances as they happen, which tend to get a lot of attention online. This is how they make up for their declining viewership, and from a broadcaster's perspective, investing heavily in YouTube videos always pays off because of the revenue they generate on the platform. But this has also resulted in music shows losing what made them special. Back then, it was interesting to wake up early and tune into every performance, but now it's all uploaded in YouTube in 4K quality, accompanied by about 4 types of fan cams for each member. It's not surprising that the viewership is so low when fans can just go on the internet and search up the group or member that they want. Don't get us wrong, music shows are still fun to watch, but they have undoubtedly lost their essence and what made them special in the first place. However, they're here to stay despite the low viewership and the obvious manipulation of scores.